Well, folks, Christmas is finally canceled. Everyone's prayers have been answered. Tommy Egan is back. Episode 10, the finale, our power book to Ghost, the Heart of Darkness. And this has been an amazing first season. We've been covering it all season and finally coming to an end. It's so surreal, but like it's just been so good. There's so many things to get into it tonight. Like I said, Tommy Egan's back. Everybody's been theorizing he was going to come back. He did. The Blue Mustang appeared. He canceled Christmas. Man, we saw Cash. Cash had a word or two.
We saw. Hold up. How many episodes have we ever seen Yaz and Cash have words together?
Never.
Oh man,
Jasmine. By the way, because I could not. You know what? That was so funny to me. I bet you they were like, just leave that in there. Zach straight up called her daughter Jasmine. He knows everything about that family and called her Jasmine. And most of us thought her name was Jasmine at the point, but it is Yasmin with a Y. But yeah, a lot of things happened. Yeah, Tommy came back from Cali pretty fast. He saw the news and made that one day back to New York. Tasha said promises twice in this episode.
I think we said that last week. That she was gonna make those promises. I knew it.
And folks, if you've been watching us this entire season, you know Christmas was canceled because Tommy came back, but Christmas came early for me because Jabari ass got smoked.
You know what? I knew how excited you were going to be when Professor Reynolds ate that bullet at the end. I said, this nigga's gonna be super hype.
I gotta be honest though, like as much as I disliked him, I was never a fan of him being killed. I didn't see it fit for everything that's happening. But I like how desperate he was this episode, that we finally started to see him really show face as to who he truly is. Instead of that fake me out confident person, we saw him on the opposite side of things. So like in all for this season, I was like, you know what? As much as I disliked him, probably not the way I would have wanted him to go. But I know a lot of people didn't like him. A lot of people wanted Tommy to do it. And Tariq was the one who did it. And man, when you think about it, man, it writes itself sort of. When you bully somebody for his entire semester, these type of things tend to happen. You end up reeking with yourself. So
why did people want Tommy to do it? That would make no sense.
Bro, they wanted Tommy to do everything. That's what you're missing.
Tommy Tommy needed to come back, kill Reynolds. He needed to come back and kill Kane. He needed to come back. Ramirez.
Sax was the one I was like, killing Sax. Okay, it's already hot. And I was really like reluctant on him coming back anyway. Like, I like Tommy. Don't get it wrong. We already know he's going to have a series. He didn't have a reason to come back. In the fashion of him coming back, at one point I was like, oh, this is not good. But I think it all came together good enough to really invest us into his power book that's going to be coming down. But like, I think the big thing to really establish is that he no longer has connections with the St. Patrick's. He still has his son. He is fully aware of everything that has happened as far as with Keisha being killed by Tasha. I mean, Cali's not that far from Arizona where Tasha's going. I mean, you just never know.
Clearly, she's not going to Arizona now. Like, clearly, that's not going to happen. It seems like they brought him back and released Tasha for the same reason, which is to disconnect Tariq from the past series. Yep. And it had to happen because if Tommy isn't revealed in this season, he would have had to be revealed down the line. And that's something they didn't want to have drag on. Yeah. They need people to see this as, hey, this is a show with Tariq. This is not a show that Tasha needs to pop up on. This is not a show Tommy needs to pop up on. Eventually, they're going to have to get rid of 2-Bit. Like, they want to establish this as Tariq and a Tahadas.
Yeah.
And nothing else in the Power universe. I have one question, though, but I don't know if we're about to get into this episode, but I have one question.
All right.
I don't know if I'm going to save my question. I'm going to save my question for later because I have one highly important question on what borough are we in and how big-time drug dealers don't know each other. I'm highly
Yeah.
confused at this point.
Yeah. We'll get to that in a second. Yeah, I mean, like I said, we keep making fun at Yaz, but Yaz did have a line. I think that's very significant that we do point out that Yaz said mommy. So shout out to Yaz in the spectacular
Her
performance
power
this
book is
entire
gonna be
season.
her
It's gonna be
power book is gonna
fire.
be crazy.
I
Yes, Arizona hot list. It's gonna be crazy, Joe.
But I think the other big thing is this is Power Book 2 Ghost, and we kept saying, well, what does that mean? I think we finally got our really definitive answer, and Tariq being worthy of being called Ghost, and obviously by the tagline, Ghosts never die. So we kind of seeing him really come to the understanding of the sacrifices his dad made, which we've been talking about all this season, and him really coming into fold with that. And yeah, this is his step forward of him really taking another step down the path that his father never wanted him to do so. And we seen as much as Tasha tried to prevent it, and as much as Tasha tried to come to fruition of who he is, he still made his own decisions. And you know, it's that relationship that his dad, him and Tariq and James have had the entire power. Is that I love you, but I don't love you, but I understand you. And I mean, that's more or less. I think that's more or less an overall dynamic from the viewers as what we've seen. We see them love each other, but not love each other. But now we absolutely see them understand each other. So I'm very happy with that. I think it's as much as this wrapped up season 1, which we'll talk about season 2 in a second. I think this also really was the ending for Power, period. I think this really puts things into a good bow of the 6 seasons of Power.
So you're telling me James isn't going to magically come back like most people for some odd reason still thought?
I ain't have time yet, but I'm pretty sure. But yeah, let's get into this episode. Well, yeah, we'll start off with your question. Yeah, what you got?
Well, it was simple. The moment the name Ghost was said and Monet looked and didn't know who the hell he was,
definitely was surprised.
They're all supposed to be in Queens. I think we established Monet and them in Queens, and we're establishing Ghost was in Queens. How many big connects are in this barrel? At this point is what I'm wondering, because that didn't fully compute for me.
Right.
That are we saying that they sectioned off? Because even if they sectioned off, Ghost's operation was huge.
Yeah, I mean
lots of people under him. How the hell wouldn't she have known who Tommy was?
I was just about to say, and then Tommy would have definitely been the answer, because Ghost was, I mean, they were a partnership, and Ghost was Ghost for the reason because he was not seen, but everybody knew who Tommy was. Tommy was the sophisticated Kane. Yep. Everyone knew who he was, and everyone respected him because they know he ran it, and he had different ranks throughout the seasons, whatever it may be, but there's no reason she shouldn't have known Tommy.
Now, unless this is also to show just how disconnected Monet actually was from the operation when Lorenzo was in the street.
Yeah, you're talking about more or less that conversation that Tasha had with her at the bar.
Yes, when I know you, he tells us some things, they don't tell us everything type of conversation, because then that would explain why she doesn't know who Tommy is. So maybe that's something they're going to pay off in the second season, maybe somehow. Because if she brings up Ghost and says Ghost to Lorenzo and he don't know who it is, then we have a problem.
Yeah.
But if she says Ghost to Lorenzo and he like, what? Where did you hear that name from? Who? Then maybe we get the wheels start turning about revealing everything that's known here.
Yeah.
So I think that's the only again, it's the only caveat I have on it, because the moment I saw it, I said, wait a minute, they should know who Tommy is.
Yeah, I mean, and it even goes to, there's a couple of things I want to talk about with that. The first thing is that it also should really go to Monet's statement about she always does her research on everybody. So you know who Tasha was, but you don't know who
Tommy is. Because if research alone should have told you, oh, okay, so they think her name is Ghost, and they think she's connected to a crime organization. They're in Queens. This Tommy Egan character they think is the boogeyman supreme. Like it again, I'm just asking questions because it's not fully computing to me.
And I mean, and traditionally, you know anything about New York and the history of New York, especially back in the 80s, then you know that big people were known states over, not just bureaus over, but states over.
Big
So
people know big people. And in that type of line of work, you know everyone who is as big or coming up to be as big as you.
And even there should be some hierarchy, which obviously we didn't get any of that. And then if there's no hierarchy, then it should have been some respect. The respect we have to the Tejada's name should have correlated over to the St. Patrick's name. And then if you didn't, then you knew Tommy. And once you said Uncle Tommy, then it's like, okay.
Yeah, it should click. That's when he said Uncle Tommy and she was there. That's when I'm like, okay, I'm expecting it to click.
And here's my other thing too. What did Lorenzo say to her? You need to strengthen up the troops. You had your biggest asset right in your face. And not even a proposition game.
That would have been too spot on. Like at first I thought maybe that would be the direction they would go, but then I said no, it's too spot on. And again, you need Tommy away from New York.
Yeah. That's why I was like, this is why I don't think Tommy should have been in this episode. Because again, I like Tommy. I know people are going to ridicule me for saying that, but think about this now. The Tetris pieces just fell all in order. Everybody who wanted to make money, who needed a position, was all available. Braden is available now. He's doing good at this. Tariq is now fully available. Then you have Tommy, who not only has connects in New York, obviously in California or Chicago, wherever it's at, maybe both at this point. One conversation, and that's the thing. When Tariq said I had a way out for all of us, I didn't see Tommy trying to fake his death as being a Tariq plan here.
Oh, this was the moment they got in a car chase. Matter of fact, the moment he pulls up and Tasha's about to pull off, I knew then that was the setup. Because it would only make sense for that to be the setup. Because the key part was Tasha needed a way not to have to testify against Tommy. There is no other way not to testify against him unless they think he's dead.
Yeah.
And if they think he's dead, it takes heat off of his back. But I knew he couldn't be still in New York and them think he's dead. Like, it's not going to work. You have to go away.
You're entirely right. I just didn't think this was a Tariq plan. I thought Tariq would have been like, Uncle Tommy, I got a person who can make us all money.
Uncle Tommy is still like fighting the urge to kill Tariq. He is not gonna side with him. And some new people, well, it said at the end when Tommy looked at Monet and said, I wouldn't trust this kid. Like Tommy don't trust him. And that other part of the end when Tommy said, man, this is some ghost shit. Like that again tells you how much he does not trust Tariq.
Yeah.
Is he like, this is the same bullshit your father would pull. I'm not trusting you. Plus, again, I think
that's very significant.
I think this was all this episode, and it's in reverse into other shows. This episode set up all the future spinoffs, the sequel spinoffs, because the prequel spinoff is already set up, and that's the next one, which is Kane. But if you pay attention to, and I know this is like something, I don't know how many people get to see this, but if you watch this on the Stars app, before this episode goes through and they showed a preview of their next shows coming up, the one that caught my attention the most was Power Force, was right after Power Kanan. So now I'm wondering, like, when is the other big show coming? Because we still got to talk about Stephen Ott, because this show, the Influence episode, this whole time, I think we made the mistake. And you know, we can admit when we're wrong. I think we made the mistake of thinking this was going to be a Governor Tate show.
No. I said it last week.
Well, let me phrase this. Not we as in us.
Yeah.
Other people who always assumed it was a Governor Tate show. This show is way one. Democrats are crooked. I'm going to say that according to this show. And when he walked into that courtroom, that chamber, and said, Nina, do you want to be in traffic? Get the fuck out of here. Like that showed the power that he had, and that's going to be the influence thing moving forward with my girl Tamika.
Yeah.
I need Tamika to come back and like be powerful.
It's not even a question that
she's too good to not be on influence.
Yeah, and that's important. That yes, we in the beginning you did get to see a quick scene of Tate and whatever. So I was thinking the same thing. Like, okay, this is still like the refreshing, like, you know, optimism, or everyone wants optimism, but this is just like the reminder to everybody that like we remember that these things are coming, and like, you know, for us really focusing on power, we're really waiting to see what the timeline of things is going to be. Obviously, we're getting Kanan this summer, but you know, we want any little indication of what it was next on the slate. But regardless of not seeing dates, because we're seeing it, we all know it's still coming. I absolutely said last week that the Lorenz Tate, absolutely the person you want in the front. He is marketable. He has a fan base that would not only with power, but outside of power, that would tune in for him.
Now,
with that being said,
do you think it plays a part that the actor playing Stephen Ott, this would be a second series for him? I think he puts eyes on power that they haven't had on this show.
I totally agree. I totally agree. But I think Starz is really knowing how to market to a T. And I think you don't want Lorenz Tate to be known as the secondary guy. You want him as your primary guy. But us as power fans, we know like Tate is going to be Tate. But I've been, like I said last week, Stephen Ott is the must watch of this series. And today, him putting his foot down in court, which we've been seeing all season, is just a display of the antics, and better yet, should I say, the politics that's going to be going down in New York. And that's interesting for people. Politics, it sells. There's so many political shows out there. And I think that them doing something a little bit different now. And we also got a display of how they do politics in court. And these episodes have been pretty good. You know, like we said, one of our earlier reviews, we said we wish we got a little bit more in the courtroom. And now I
said that last week. I said I need at least I think I said 15, 20 minutes in courtroom.
Yeah.
We didn't get it because boy, did they let Tariq look power logic. That does not happen in court.
Yeah.
The judge would have stopped him from talking before he got a second word out.
He would have had to be 15. That's the only way that works. And he's 18, so he's an adult. So like there's no way they would have let him free mouth like that. But it's cool. I'm not even gonna get on it. But I think again, like for folks, I know everybody want to be on board with Kanan. I know everybody wants Tommy, but the Stephen Ott one is what we're calling it. That's gonna be the sleeper. I am excited for that. And the bad thing about it is, when do we get this? Because you got season 2 of this of Power Book 2 Ghost coming out.
Remember, I said that last week. I'm wondering how's the release calendar going to work for these shows.
That's the big thing for me.
Are we going to do Power Book 2 second season, and then right after that debut something else? But I think they're going to rush into production Tommy's show.
Oh yeah,
you have no choice.
Mm-hmm.
He's too charismatic on screen for it not to have. Both of them are actually.
Yeah.
The Stephen
Queen loves working with him.
Yeah, and the Tommy character both are. Because it took a while for the Stephen R character. It took a while for me not to see Royal Pains whenever he was on screen. For people that don't know, that's his actual original show on the USA Network that I absolutely love. It took me a minute not to see that, but once you get to the point of him making the moves that he's making, you understand that a charismatic actor is what's needed to make these shows move. Like in the end, Power had a couple of them between Amari, Jason, hell, even Turtle. I don't know his name. I'm going to call him Turtle. All of them were full of charisma, and it made the shows move so well.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get this season where you get Tariq really carrying this show and them slowly trying to build everyone else up to follow his suit. And it worked. For first season, it works really well, and they did a great job of ending the connection to Power, because that was a key part. You had to end that connection.
Yep.
And say, hey, we're branching off here. This is something a little different. We're going to give you a little Tommy show. We're going to give you a Lorenz Tate X show. Kanan is going to have a show. Like, everyone's going to have one.
And who knows what's after that? I mean, they announced these, 2 years ago, I think, or a year ago, whatever. Who knows what next could be coming after this? If it makes money and it makes sense, then why not? I'm excited, but I will say this too. Like, I love Power, and I think the writing is good. I don't think it's like amazing, but I also think it's really good conversational pieces. That's why we do reviews. But I guess for me, and this is why I'm not a writer, obviously, I just think it's really genius how they use this first season to establish everything else moving forward, but also tie up things before it when they did not have to do that. Because most times people do, when they do spinoffs, they say this series was that, and this comes right after that, and then that comes right after that. And it just seems like just a connecting train piece that just keep going on and on and on. And that could get tragic for some shows. But it was good how this one was able to say, well, Power, where, a little bit of Power slid into this, but it ended Power, and then it started Power Book, and then it gets you prepared for Power Book season 2, but it gets you prepared for 3 other spinoffs, and it just all logically makes sense. It's not too, how they say like too much of something that can always be bad. Like it did not feel like that. I don't feel like I'm been bombarded with so much of this that I'm not really interested in seeing what's coming. I think they just did enough to just get everybody really interested going forward with everything.
It's another show that did this, that came out this year, that we actually also reviewed, and it did the same thing. It just did it in its second season of understanding how to set up everything moving forward.
Mandalorian.
Like it did the same job that this is doing. It's to set up everything moving forward, so you now know where all the pieces are at, because that's the key part of knowing where all the pieces are at. We see all the pieces lined up, because please believe, David's offer to Saxon at the end has a lot to do, and I'm not sure it has anything to do with this one. It may have to do with another one down the line,
or it could be back at Influence.
That's what I mean. That's what I mean by it.
Yeah.
To me, I don't think it's going to be for this one. I think it is going to be for Influence.
Yeah, and
that would be a key team to have. And Sax is a great person to bring over to that show, because again, the way they tied it up, his obsession with the St. Patrick's is now over.
What's next? My man Sax got some ass this episode. Hey, he's a new man.
You have been calling Sax. We assumed there is a chance that Sax was gay. In season 5, and when he got some of this, I said, look, everybody get a sex scene. Everybody get a sex scene in Power, Joe. You need your Power sex scene. If Sax, after 8 long seasons, finally got his Power sex scene.
Good for Nancy. Nancy finally pulled it off. But yeah, I mean, like we'll talk more about our predictions about season 2. But Tasha's free finally, and obviously this had a lot to do with what happened in the courtroom with Ott. I think that the first thing I want to say is, in the courtroom, it's just crazy how many people are just giving so many emotions, eye winks, gestures, mannerisms in all directions. I mean, the courtroom is just completely unchanged. But like you said, Tamika completely bodied her scene without not even having to say anything. But also too, for the sake of the show, I mean, her really coaching up Tariq for him to really bomb out everything like that. I thought it was a great. I think what I liked about it the most was that it was enough dialogue to connect things without it just being just an abundance of words going nowhere. And I think too, because Tariq doesn't have like court experience, it had to be done this way, because if he got out there start acting sophisticated of some sort, I would have lost it. I would have been like,
you would have had questions. If he got up there like Ghost did when he went to court, and so you'd be like, wait a minute here, you shouldn't know how to do that. But that's why I was set up that way, from us seeing Tamika in the end of last episode, and for her just doing now that part. is good, and that part was done well in the courtroom when she's giving him the subtle nods. That normally happens when someone's on the stand and they actually have a lawyer in the gallery. Like, they do things of that nature. So that really worked well, because then she doesn't have to say anything.
Yeah,
it's basically her reaffirming him, like, you understand what we set up already. Say this, push this. Like, and it worked really well.
He said, "But I did see you there with a gun." I was like, "Wait, what?" I mean, it was one of my favorite scenes this season, man. I thought it was really dope. But like, yeah, Stephen Ott. I mean, I am on board to see what Stephen Ott does for his series, and I'm also waiting to see what type of dynamics we get. I know I keep jumping up to that, but Stephen Ott, John Mock, what's the other dude that got fired? The other guy that Mock took his place after he took his place.
The one that you thought was the most straightest arrow on Power until the last 2 episodes, where he became just as crooked as the rest of them.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure he may come back in some sort. I mean,
did we finish this whole season without Blanca? Damn it!
Yeah, she came back just once.
No, that's what I mean, though. We finished the season without her.
Yeah,
they should have had her pull up on Tasha.
Tell you what, though, the one thing I will say is that there's a lot of people questionably should have been arrested this season for illegal things, and no one did. No one.
Hey, it's power logic.
Yeah. And Tasha, man,
she's parking in New York with no cars around, in Queens with no issue. You can get away with multiple felonies and not have to worry about it.
Tasha got walked out by her best friend in jail, so we avoided the Orange is New Black spinoff that potentially could have came, but
because it looked like it was going there for.
But yeah, so I mean, obviously because of everything that happened, Tasha and her family, well, her daughter, not Tariq, because they could not put Tariq and her together, is granted witness protection.
The funniest shit in the world. He said that right there should have let everyone know going in the door that Tasha was not going to be around, because they like, nope, we need to sever this connection immediately. Because one, what he said made absolutely no sense. Yes, if I put Tasha in witness protection for snitching on Tommy, I'm not going to leave her son out there for Tommy to come kill him. Makes no sense. And when he said, well, you can take daughter, like, it's like, damn, y'all just throwing Yaz away all over again.
Yaz has been stealing money for 8 seasons at this point. maximum 5 sentences, and now she's gone.
We have seen her grow up and say 10 total words in 7 seasons. That is crazy.
And Alt called he called Tariq Jason Derulo.
Hey. That
he was hot.
He had on though, so yeah. I give it to him. That's a hell of a line too.
Yeah, man, Alt was hot this whole episode. Man, he was not going for Sax Bull. But I mean, I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of different things I picked up from this episode. I mean, a lot of people kept telling Tariq to be careful, but then it ultimately started turning around to saying, well, be careful with Tariq. So like, it was weird to me that dynamic changed at some point in this episode. And I can't pinpoint when and what, but I also feel like it probably is correlating with the idea of Tariq really coming into fruition again, that he's a killer. Yes. And once that mindset hit, then the show changed. The dialogue of the show sprued this way around too, where it was like, Tariq, be careful. Then it went to, well, be careful of Tariq because of his true colors. So, and again, I think that, I know a lot of people were probably already getting ahead of this right now, but Tariq St. Patrick is now just ultimately became Tariq Tejada. So, and I think that's part of the transformation that we're kind of seeing with why the dialogue probably switched as well.
Well, it had to. It was necessary for the show to move forward that Tariq would have to become a part of that family. And we kind of saw the rumblings of it last episode, especially when he saved Diana. We saw it then. And that's when he grew that connection with Monet that was necessary to have. And when they go back and forth, I think with her and Tasha, when Monet said, "I told Tariq he would always pick you, but he belongs to me."
Yeah,
that was a sign right there of like, no, Tariq may be your baby, but he's my family.
yeah,
And this is how we're going to have to move forward everything, to the extent that when he needed to attempt to protect himself from Tommy, he called Monet for help.
yeah,
Like, that says a lot there,
yeah,
that he called her for help.
yeah.
For a minute, I thought maybe he was calling Kane. I thought maybe that would be it.
I don't.
Just because of the way the scene prior ended, with Kane finally getting through his thick ass skull, what it means to actually handle business. Like, and Tariq laid it out perfectly, even though Monet had laid it out perfectly to him beforehand about him being a hothead and not thinking about the decisions you're making. And when she said, "And you still obsessed with Tariq," like, why are you still focusing on Tariq? You're not saying this is all your fault until we get to the point of Tariq telling him the exact same thing, but then him seeing Tariq do something he didn't think Tariq had in him.
Yeah.
And that was just to cold-bloodedly kill Professor Reynolds.
Yeah. And again, we'll talk about season 2 in a minute. I kind of think about that a little bit too. Talk about dynamics about a little some of the bodies that were caught tonight. Monet caught another one. Killing Rico, business is business, obviously.
But you got to bring that. You got to bring something up about that, and that goes back to her conversation with Lorenzo when he said you can't be so hot-headed. At that moment when she killed Rico, she was Kane.
Yeah, that's what I was getting at.
She didn't think of the consequences at all of killing him. It was just, he did something I didn't like, and now he got to die. So we're now seeing this helped us show us that Kane is way more like his mama than his daddy. You can't overreact like she did there. And that whole conversation with now you got to bring her back. You have no choice.
Yeah.
You acted out on something that you shouldn't have acted out on, and now even though I need to understand why the Tejadas don't have more soldiers, but we need to like be out here in the streets and protect ourselves now.
Yeah, I mean, and also too, she was instructed to go get Kane because it made sense for their troops.
Yep.
And she went all the way over there to just hurt his feelings, which was another hothead thing to me, because it was like, you were given a task that makes the business better. You have to suck this up. You already had this talk with Lorenzo, and it was already deemed that this was the thing you had to do. And you went over there just to hurt this man's feelings and leave out.
No, I think what happened was, well, I'm not going to say just to hurt his feelings. It was her realizing that Kane killed Ramirez.
Yeah.
Lorenzo doesn't know that yet, which is going to be an even more interesting thing. He don't know Ramirez is dead. And when he said, well, he was, and she said, well, past tense, like one that is a very good pickup. I know it seems simple to a lot of people, but I want you to think of everyday conversation you have and picking up on certain words that people use. Most people don't pick them up like that.
Yeah.
The point that you picked up that he used something in the past tense to say, wait a minute, you dummy.
Yeah.
Like, you don't understand what you just did. I think she was going there to bring him back into the fold until she found out he killed Ramirez, because she understands, like, you took away all our protection.
Yeah.
At that point, you hurt the family more than anything else by killing him. The same thing you told him in the hospital. Like, you just don't understand what you just did.
And I'm just wondering who they're going to pin that on. And matter of fact, Kane trying to get rid of the body. I mean, he still had the cell phone on until the last minute.
Swamps of New York. New York. People that don't know, I'm saying that as a joke, but New York is an island, so they do have parts of New York like that. But that was a key point to me, is the point that the phone rings and then he cuts it up. Dude, that's the first thing you take away is his phone.
It was nighttime when he shot him. It was daytime where he was getting rid of the body. By the way, I thought Kane, if he could do one thing, it was knowing how to get rid of bodies, because we seen him do it last episode with the G2Gs. So
was that the G2Gs idea to get rid of bodies that way? We saw Drew get rid of a body now and planning how to do it. But again, Kane is just a hothead. That's what Kane is good for. He's good to be a hothead.
He is the muscle. He's the enforcer. It has been said that he is the enforcer. He never makes right decisions. And that's his. I guess Tariq may help him elevate that, because Tariq did get through to him. And again, we seen that look of respect that they had in the car ride earlier this season. And at times you kind of sympathize with this guy, because he always says that I am who I am because of my mom. And you want to say, like, no, you're just the idiot. But then this episode, you see her make Kane like moves, and you just like, well, shit.
He is just like his mom.
There it is. So he's not so dumb after all. He knows where it comes from. He's like, bada boom, So, again, as much as this is the finale of season 1, there's just so many things to really think about going into season 2 with everything that this has done. And not only, again, going forward with season 2 of Power Book 2, but also, like, again, how does this wrapped up everything with power. So it was good. Now, the other thing that I don't even know if I even want to even talk about this, to be honest, but obviously people that watches us, I'm probably sure you're going to have some comments on this as well too, is just like the whole interview thing with Jabari.
I was waiting. I was waiting because
so much heartburn with this scene, because it literally nothing made sense to me.
Well, it did, because it was a police interrogation. How did we go from you are here so you don't harass the students to both of them too harassing young Everett? And this, like, it felt like so much pressure when he was talking. Like, I'm like, are these two cops? Because that's what cops do. They set you up that way. And I guess they had to bring other Black students in that wasn't in their like classroom setting to make it look legitimate. But again, you got 2 Black professors questioning all the Black students on campus, and no one has a problem with this.
I'm sorry, you're talking about the 2 people that said that they had problems with that happening last episode, and then they went and did it this episode.
I am so confused.
I tell you, man, you give people a little bit of power and authority. This stuff happens all the time.
Man, when they said we're shutting down class to interview people, I said, what no, that's not how that works here. You can't say, well, fuck your education. We need to interview these suspects and get information to the police. It was crazy there.
All that confidentiality and stuff that they were preaching, man.
All went out the window. Every bit of it went out the window.
Yeah. But what was it? I mean, poor Everett. Like that shit was just all fucked up. But like Zeke coming straight to Carrie. We need to talk now. Caressing her hand. Jabari,
6 guy I've ever seen.
Like the Jabari character still gets under my skin so much, because it's just like he went from being overly obsessed with her to being suspicious, and then completely just saying, let me go Google Zeke. He go Google Zeke, and the first picture on the website is the whole Tejada family with Tariq
with Tariq. But hold up. That wasn't my issue. You are clearly against the wall, the same wall that Curry heard him having sex against earlier in the season. So clearly those walls are thin. And they're having a conversation that should reveal to you that Zeke is the person she's been having sex with this entire season. And you brush that off with no issue after being super obsessed, it seemed like, with Carrie. But then at the end we get, oh, so your obsession this whole time was with Tariq? Those two don't make sense there.
Yeah, it definitely doesn't. I cannot even like phantom to put this together. The only thing I could think of is that once he found an out, in order to really, let's say, in order for him to basically avoid the plagiarism of Tariq's work, which would have means that his writing career can now officially take off, which is obviously lucrative to him. It just positioned that maybe he's one of those type of people where it's like, well, when my money's good, then everything else is good. But when it's not, then I am just problematic in every direction I go in. And the obsession with Carrie, I mean, it still doesn't quite make sense for it to have just been debunked like so quickly, but like I just don't get it. But like, yeah, it does come off as like, well, maybe you're just obsessed with Tariq because, like, sir, you literally was just how fascinated you were. And it doesn't even make sense to me because how does the psychology of this character just switch like that when you completely trashed him for 8 episodes?
Just about
one questionable episode and then completely love him this episode. Just like, I'm just so fascinated with you. I just thought, and the one thing I can't figure it out is who killed the person in the, I don't even like, to the point I was thinking to myself, like,
that even be
how does that even,
it made no sense. That was unnecessary. Unnecessary.
That question should have been, but the one thing I need you to tell me is that, really, you can be honest with me. Did you have sex with Carrie Milgram?
Yes.
And it didn't go that way.
Instead, it focused on something that it was against his character. That's it.
Yeah.
And I'm going to miss his character. I really am. I needed that uppity, unnecessary black man on this show. That just makes things like, even his death scene was like kind of sad a little.
It definitely.
He was up there begging.
Oh, it's pathetic all the way.
But it made sense, and with his obsession with Tariq saying, "Why did you have to ask all those questions?" Like, no, I can't have you write a book on me. Like, you saw what the business that he was doing, and yet you still thought he would just be okay with you exposing things and people not being able to connect the dots that he's your student. Like, it makes no sense to even think that you were going to get away with that.
Oh man, there was this one movie, I think it was called Best Man. It's a clear indication of how people can just connect things.
And the law system would have been Morris Chestnut right after they connected everything. Like, you just don't, it makes no sense to do that at all. Like, but you know, RIP.
Yeah.
Rest in power, my brother.
I got to be honest, I'm still torn about it. I am. I'm probably going to take me like a while to kind of figure out how I would have done this, but I'm definitely torn that this was the way. And then he wrote that email to Carrie, basically saying that, what did he say? I was wrong. I'm sorry, I was wrong about you, but you were right about me. Can we talk about it tomorrow? Who the hell and when the hell and why the hell was that important? That's what I need to know. What's the significance of that? Besides Carrie, again, Carrie's all about power. So
about him using people.
Yeah.
And I think it was based off of him using people. Like, you're right about me. And him being wrong about her was him being wrong about her having sex with Tariq when it was clearly revealed that that was not the person that she was having sex with. Now, I don't know if he even connected the dots like he should have, that Zeke was the person that she was having sex with, because that was right in front of his face. You just saw her defend Zeke, change Everett's entire
He's obsessed with Tariq.
Testimony. And then you see Zeke show up, and then you see Zeke grab her by the arm in a very intimate way. Like, come on now. What the hell?
I'm sorry. It's and like, nah, no more. Yeah, he's obsessed with Tariq. That's just the flat bottom line. He's just obsessed with Tariq. That's all it is. And Zeke, by the way, if you're scared, go to church, because this dude been shaking in his boots for 2 episodes, and just like, he just comes, like, when he came to Tariq room, like, oh, you probably need to, watch your back or whatever too. That was just like,
his eyes huge in fear. I'm just gonna say, if I would have to kill him, because he gonna snitch. He is gonna snitch. He is not to be trusted, because he is a scared little kid, Joe.
Yeah, I hope he gets written off. I don't even think he should be in next season, considering that he's on his way to the league.
So he got to be there. Still in Sandsville. I mean, yeah, because technically most college recruits only have 1 year, and then they make it to the pros. But then if he makes it to the pros, Monet has made it. You keep on hearing her say he's our cash cow. He's our way out.
Also, too, if that happens, then Tariq also. Oh wait, he has to graduate, not just 1 year. So Zeke will be one and done. Yeah, Zeke could be one and done because in NCAA rules. But unless that changed, is it 2 years now? I forget.
Still 1. Actually, matter of fact, it changed. It's not even 1. You don't even have to go to college anymore.
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, obviously.
So Zeke is like stuck in a situation where they could pull him off of the show, but then it would leave questions about the way Monet sees the future of the family moving if Zeke makes it. Because to her, again, it's always been if Zeke makes it, that's it. We're good, set for life. Unless Zeke flips and makes it and separates himself from the family, which we could also see happening because he's extremely scared of his family.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and that's another reason why you should just go to Lee. It'll be one and done, and you can just go wherever you want to go. The question is, will he take Carrie? Will he try to take Carrie? Will that blow up? I mean, it's all types of things that I don't think we need in season 2, but like,
no, he's overly in love with Carrie, but I don't think Carrie's in love with him.
Oh, no. Again, which I was going to say, Carrie's all about power. That's why she even looked at the email about Jabari, because she was just like, oh, now I'm right. Now I am superior to him and he is inferior, where it was always the reverse ways where he was always. And now, so I think that's kind of why she kind of was like, oh, okay, cool. Different dynamic between the two of them. But then again, I'm just not interested in Jabari. I'm not interested in Carrie. I'm not interested in Zeke. And I mean, if Jabari died, and somebody has to be pointed to this, I know they're going to say that it was Ramirez with his dirty gun.
He's a dirty cop.
A dirty cop that's missing. His gun is missing. And knowing Kane, he's probably going to end up being found, murdered by also another gun that Kane has.
Well, no. If we keep in mind, when Tariq took Kane's weapon, he asked him, "Is this the gun you shot Ramirez with?"
Okay.
So if that's the case,
well, yeah, I'm sorry, I'm drawing a blank here.
Yes, they flipped it, and I'm not crazy here. They flipped it. First, I swore he said, "Is this the gun you shot Ramirez with?" Then he said something about him being a crooked cop. So keep in mind, though, if he's killed with a gun that we can't identify, and he was a crooked cop anyway, it doesn't makes no. It still is going. It's not going to blow back against them.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, and obviously that's just how they would want it to be anyway, without us putting a lot of thought into it. So
of course not. It's power.
Yeah.
Don't put thoughts into killing. Ghosts kill people all the time, and we didn't put any thoughts into them. We just like, damn.
Braden and the character is ready for season 2. He says he wants more. If the money's flowing, this is something he's good at. He's looking to do more. He's in things with his girl. She gave her a little whatever about Tariq.
Sack speech, because that was a sack speech.
Absolutely. Thing. She cared nothing about it, and just it's on to season 2 for him. So I think
that people are bored.
Yeah.
Because he literally needs no money from this. But he's like, I finally found something I'm good at.
Yeah. Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with that. I don't have predictions just yet. We'll get the predictions in a second. Matter of fact, I forgot to bring this up about Jabari. Now, when Jabari was talking about Tariq, and he was talking about the advance, I said, if this do not sound like a 1990s 360 deal waiting to happen, my man promised him a bunch of stuff.
Man, sign on this dotted line, man. We can make it. We gonna make all the money.
I said, this ain't the most New York record label bullshit I've seen.
All he needed was a Diddy glasses on and a bottle of Ciroc right next to him as he's asking.
He tried to cut Tariq a 360 deal on a book.
Oh man, yeah.
Man,
that was a wild whole conversation to have with somebody there, and say we could split my advance. Wait, nigga, it's not your advance if the book is about me. That's my money. Like, I don't have to spend nothing with you. You will give me if you want this book.
Oh my God. Man, that was the scene. But Tasha, we finally got to see Tasha and Monet meet each other.
The world has been waiting. The power world has been waiting for that meeting.
Because it was going to be a shootout, but it wasn't the shootout that we got. It's not the shootout that they wanted. It was a shootout with Tommy canceling Christmas. But nonetheless, Tasha wanting to buy Tariq out of Monet. I'm gonna throw you a question in a second. And you know, Tasha really happened to come to she had to come to understand that Tariq going out on his own and that he states that he's a killer, and she just kind of takes a step back and like, it is what it is. My question to you is, was that the logical move for Tasha to approach Monet in that matter of the idea of buying Tariq out? Like, where do you see the logic here?
That was a mother way of approaching it. Yes.
Okay.
I fully understood. Like, she understand when Tariq told her Monet's just not gonna let me go. Then yeah, Tasha would approach her, and she tried to approach her on a motherly thing more than anything else. Of saying, like, you're a mom, I'm a mom. What would you do if you were me? Like, I'm not gonna just let you take my son. That's just not gonna happen.
Yeah.
So I fully understood her approaching Monet about this. And the moment Monet said Lorenzo, she said, I'm not talking to Lorenzo.
Yeah.
She's approaching her like mother to mother. You know how this works.
Yeah.
You know I'm just not gonna give up my baby just because. And I don't care what he's involved in.
Yeah.
I want him gone. I want him out of this altogether. Like, I saw it take my daughter. We didn't get the Queen's Child's Project done because of this. Like, James, I can't lose everything.
Yeah.
And now lose my son. So I fully understood her coming to Monet with that.
Yeah.
Which made it even better. I'm not gonna lie here. At times, I don't like get chills from things and watching certain shows, but when a shootout happens, no one knows who it is until they peek out that door and you see that blue cargo pack.
Yeah.
That's when you lose it. You're like, oh, fuck yeah. Like,
yeah. The moment everybody's been waiting for. Yeah, the blue iconic Mustang. I mean, and I think too, not only just because we love Tommy as a character, and Joseph is an amazing actor, but I think that we lost so much of power from the destruction of Tommy. You know, the iconic set pieces. We haven't been the truth. Well, that's really the one thing that we were able to hold on to is the Mustang. And when you see it pull up, you're just like, okay, you know, reminiscing back and giving us the nostalgia of something we've been seeing for 6 seasons. So,
and establishing the rules from the moment he sees Tariq. He established the rule. When he said, I told Ghost I wouldn't kill you, but if you don't get your skinny ass off my car, it really establishes why they could even coexist with one another in that setting. Is because he made a dying pledge to his best friend that I would not kill him.
Yeah.
And he's going to stick to it.
Yeah.
Completely different story. He like, oh, no.
Hey, it's so funny because like they got that rule with that, and then Ott got the whole idea of like, you Tasha can go, you Tariq can't. So, I gotta say it was really dope too. Mini Man is one of my favorite songs. So like hearing that, I was like, and then Cash Big Head came out. I was like, what the hell? Like, that's not what I don't know who I was expecting right there, to be honest. For a minute, I was like, who place is that? And then I was like, Alicia Marie. And I was like, nope. Nope.
Alicia Marie.
Yeah. Nope.
I mean, Cash, it was good to see Cash again. It was good to see him. And he had a couple of lines. Like, it's always great to get Cash a couple of lines. And to show that Tommy clearly still cares for this kid and feels responsible for this kid.
Yeah.
And again, Mini Man was
it's a classic all day, every day.
It was a weird selection there, though. A weird selection there. But it works because that's a classic song.
That's a hit. Yeah, no, I even think about like the lyrics for the scene.
I would have loved Heat there. If we're gonna pick a 50 Cent song, like "What Up, Gangsta" would have been great.
I was literally just about to say
If that coin would have flipped as Tommy came out that door.
Mm-hmm.
Many Men is a great song to put right there.
No doubt. All right, buddy. What you got for season 2? What's your predictions of some things that we're going to get for this?
Well, I expect a lot of what happened at the end of this season to have consequences moving forward, because you can't do the things that have been done in this season without the consequences of it, whether it be Ramirez, the professor dying, all of that, even Tasha like getting taken away. Like all of this is going to come back on Tariq, because at this point now Tariq fully has to stand on his own. Like the Tejada organization clearly is not where it should be, and they're going to have to do what's necessary to come back. How do they find another connect? You killed the connect. How are you going to feed the wolves on the street as any, or I was about to say any drug dealer, excuse me, as any person who's watched a show, I'm gonna put it that way, with drug dealers in it. If you don't feed the people on the streets, you become the food.
Yeah.
So I think moving forward, we're going to have to see that happen, and how the Tejadas are going to rebuild everything. Where does Kane fit in? Like now that we see Kane possibly has more trust with Tariq, Monet still does not trust Kane at all. And I don't think we can go back to Tariq attempting to manipulate Monet into doing things. At this point, like they're trying their best to establish her as the head of this organization. And now that she sees him as family, he has to fall in line with everyone else.
This is true.
I think that's what we're going to see in season 2. And plus more of Laz Alonso. Because clearly, with the professor dying, guess who's going to take over the investigation? It's going to be Laz.
I thought you were about to say, guess who's going to take over the Chronicle stories, Professor. Yeah, I'm right with you on that. Definitely Laz Alonso is a big name. Very successful right now in the boys. So, this is a big signing for them. And I think for a recurring role, you absolutely will have, there should be a lot of interest in that.
Matter of fact, and Tariq will be the last student he saw him with.
Oh, yeah, true. And that look definitely was and he also gave him that note and said, hit him up. So, that will be the big thing about how he gets over that. Going to Lauren, who fixed Tariq tie, because Tariq clearly can't tie a tie like his dad. We go back to Lauren, Diana, which he seemed to have tipped the scale more to Diana, because he went and had that talk with Diana. There was a little bit more trust there than the trust he had with Lauren, because they didn't want Lauren to come to the courtroom. So, the love triangle goes on. Effie,
yep.
Yeah, Effie's still around somewhere. Braden is around. Tariq still has to finish school in order to get his money. But yeah, I think we're going to see a lot of the things that unraveled this season. We're going to see the repercussions of them. So there's a lot of things they can do. There's no really hardcore predictions as to what's it going to do.
I think I'm making no hardcore predictions with Power. This shit go left, because 2-Bit's still out there. Ain't no fucking telling what's gonna happen. Maybe 2-Bit gets brought into the organization. If you need a muscle and you need power on the street, guess what? You kind of have it with 2-Bit.
Yeah, and 2-Bit's out there. Spanky's mom is still out there, as far as whatever type of foreshadowing that was.
Yeah, exactly. It wasn't brought up for no reason.
Yeah. I'm trying to think what else, little things I was thinking about that kind of brought us up on.
I was thinking about Harry Potter right before Tariq shot his professor. The weirdest thing in the world. The weirdest thing in the world. It's this episode of Harry Potter where right before he punishes one of his professors, he says, "No more lies, professor." And he hits the professor with the wand. That's what popped into my head as Tariq shot Professor Reynolds. I know it's random and weird, but random weird things pop up into my head, and that was one of
them. Obviously, Tommy's mom is still in New York, because as soon as her car was stolen, it was reported stolen instantly, by the way. And so wonder we'll
report it stolen in a minute on her baby boy.
Yeah, so white privilege.
Hey.
We'll see. I mean, I don't think nothing more than a cameo. I mean, they brought her up. I mean, maybe not. I mean, I think
Not for this show. I don't. It's unnecessary for this show. Well, we knew she was still in New York because she got money from Ghost.
true that. That's right. But yeah, I think that again, we're going to see Tariq Tahada, or now Baby Ghost, whatever you want to be. We're just going to kind of see where things go forward with that, and there's a lot of possibilities,
They better not call him Ghost at any given point in time on the show,
unless he start calling himself that.
No, he won't. He won't. He
You never
won't.
know. Maybe he opens up truth now.
Look here, if they get Tariq to reopen Truth, he might as well restart the Queen's Child's project at this point. Just don't you dare get him to open up Truth.
Of course. And you know what? The app can still go because Jabbar is the only one that was able to put it all together. Strangely enough, so
I think that to me played a part in him having to go too.
Yeah,
He's the only one who knew fully what Tariq was doing, and now without him being in the picture anymore,
mm-hmm.
and with Braden more than willing to do it, and now with them already dabbling into a bigger drug, a more profitable one in coke, why not continue it? Like you, after you started, there's no we don't do coke, we don't sell coke anymore. Like nope, you are in it big time.
Yep. And I think it's also really important too that the really symbolic thing of this series was chess, and I think we're going to see a lot more chess pieces being played around going into season 2. We're gonna because as much as things have been resolved, like it's still a game, and we're going to still kind of see a lot more of this stuff kind of play out. So
and we'll be introduced to more chess pieces because, I mean, if we just look at the way this show was presented. The pieces that were presented at the beginning of this show, like out the main 5 or 6, 4 of them are gone. So you got to replace those pieces with just as important people, and Laz is clearly one of them.
Yeah.
But then you got to start moving more pieces into this to make this a full show again.
Yeah, and
just to show how the organization moves, because right now Tariq is the organization, which is super weird for this supposedly big enterprise, and that's why maybe they don't know who Ghost is, because they're not that big. Like this kid comes in and he becomes your entire organization. Maybe that's why they had a townhouse, because clearly he was Ghost in a townhouse.
And also, too, I guess, do we see Lorenzo get out next? And if we don't get out, then what are we going to see him doing in jail now?
Yeah, because that's going to be a big piece of the puzzle there.
Yeah.
Because how can he control Monet at this point?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that last conversation that them two had was very telling of where Monet sees her place in the organization and where he sees her place in the organization.
Yep. Well, anyway, folks, I think that's going to do it for us for our season finale review of Power Book 2 Ghosts, The Heart of Darkness. Let us know in the comments what you thought about tonight's episode. We definitely appreciate everybody checking us out over this past season. We will absolutely be back for more power stuff and other shows as well. So definitely, if you haven't had a chance to subscribe, definitely hit the subscribe button. Let us know in the comments. What else would you like to see us cover as we we kind of rock out until we get to Power Book 3.
Oh, we rock out on Power. We rock out on Power.
Power Book 3, Kanan. Yeah. And also that the theme song dropped tonight. So I haven't had a chance to watch it, but I don't know. I'll hit it up tomorrow.
If it's not a big town, I don't care.
Yeah, if Joe's not on the hook, I don't care. Just like that.
Already, we don't change theme songs. You tried to get that Trey Songz song that has disappeared.
He's just trying to make another dollar somehow. That's all it is.
Spotify. That joke completely disappeared. I don't need a new theme song for Kanan. I don't.
Yeah, we could. And also let us know in the comments, are you excited for the next Power Book 3, Raising Kanan? I mean, we'll be watching it for sure. I don't have too many thoughts of it. I do love the set piece and the time era, so I'm kind of waiting to see how it all plays together. And obviously, we're getting the young crew and how that all came about.
Anything I love. 70s, I'm down for. I mean, that was when I grew up.
If there's not a Grand Cherokee, if there's not an Acura Legend,
it better be. It better be. It got.
just,
There's no way in hell you're
I'm
doing
just
a show
saying.
here and it doesn't have a Legend, a Cherokee, a Honda Accord wagon. Like, what's my MPV? If y'all don't have a Mazda MPV on this show, y'all are lying. Ain't nobody selling drugs in the 90s without a Mazda MPV.
Oh man, and 50 got a rack of cars, so like he probably gonna make money just by having his own cars in and stuff. So it's gonna be interesting. So we'll see. But obviously, let us know in the comments your thoughts about the finale. Tommy coming back to cancel Christmas. Tariq, Tejada, or now soon to be Baby Ghost, or the new Ghost, whatever you want it to be. Yeah, stay tuned because we got some other shows we're covering as well. A lot of good things that's coming out this year in 2021 that we plan to cover. So if you want to hear more from me, Nigerian Lucas, definitely subscribe, and we got more content coming from you real soon. So thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in, and we'll see you all very soon. Big Go Bell.